Welcome to NYC Now, your source for local news in and around New York City from WNYC. It's Thursday, July 31st. Here's the midday news from Veronica Del Valle.
Local officials are warning residents to stay off the roads and prepare for flash flooding as hefty storms roll through the area tonight into tomorrow. The National Weather Service says New York City can expect anywhere from 1.5 to 3 inches of rain. Some areas could see as many as 5 inches, depending on how the storm system develops. Meteorologist Dave Radell says the worst will hit later today.
The timing of this is really this afternoon into this evening, about a 6 to 8, 9 hour period there. So this may impact the evening commute for folks in terms of some of this heaviest rainfall.
Mayor Adams and Governor Hochul are urging people who live in low-lying areas to stay vigilant in case of flooding. Officials are also asking residents to clear out local catch basins or report clogged ones to 311. And in New Jersey, Governor Phil Murphy is issuing an early dismissal for all state offices after 1 this afternoon. Dozens of New York cannabis dispensaries may have to move or close. New York law bars dispensaries from opening within 500 feet of schools. At first, state officials were measuring the distance door to door, but now say they should have measured property lines. Now they're trying to correct the error. Governor Hochul and state lawmakers say they will try to change the law to let dispensaries stay where they are, but they're not giving store owners any guarantees, and the legislature returns to session in January. We have a map of the dispensaries that might have to move at our news site, Gothamist. Feels like 87 and mostly sunny right now, but remember, flood watch through midday tomorrow.
Stay close. There's more after the break.
NYC.
On WNYC, I'm Michael Hill. MTA fare hike. Another's coming. How much more will commuters and drivers have to pay? WNYC's transit reporter Stephen Nessen joins us with what to expect. Stephen, what are the details of this MTA proposal?
Let's start with the basics. The cost of a single subway and bus ride. Costs will go up 10 cents. So we finally have a nice round number, $3 a ride. The MTA has tried to stick to these sort of predictable fare hikes. We see them every 2 years. So this isn't too crazy. The agency argues that given the high rate of inflation we've seen, the cost of a ride is lower than what it should be, which they say is $3.50. Here's MTA official Jesse Lazarus yesterday explaining how the MTA fares used to be closely tied to the cost of a slice. It's known as the pizza principle.
Pizza principle, this homegrown economic theory that the cost of a subway and the cost of a slice should always be the same, really collapsed in the last few years in this period for the first time since the 1960s.
So the MTA argues $3, still a pretty good deal to get around the city, cheaper than a slice.
And Stephen, it's not just subways, though. All MTA services are going up in cost starting in January.
That's right. The commuter railroads, Long Island Railroad, Metro North, those prices will actually go up 4.4%. That's higher than the subway. And bridges and tunnels, the tolls for those will go up 7.5%. There's still congestion pricing. That doesn't change. And there are some other new costs coming as well. Omni cards, if you buy one of those physical cards, right now they cost $1. Starting January 4th, it's going to go up to $2 unless you just use your credit card or smartphone.
Yeah, pardon me, Steve. Is this definitely happening?
Most likely, although the public will get a chance to weigh in. There'll be some public hearings coming up, and the MT board itself will get a chance to weigh in. There was some concern from some board members, but it doesn't look like a majority are fighting against this fare increase. That said, the Adams administration sent out a statement yesterday, and they are outraged. They are calling for their 4 board members to vote no on this hike. Adams says, quote, proposing a fare hike without demonstrating meaningful improvements is offensive to hardworking New Yorkers. Like I said, there were some grumblings from a couple of board members, but it's not enough to derail this plan as far as I heard.
Stephen, I have to ask, people are clamoring for a more affordable city. How does the MTA plan to raise fares amid that clamor, and especially after the hot weather this week showed the system cannot stand up to changing weather patterns? Why does the MTA say this is necessary?
Well, the MTA would argue, like I said, taking a subway or bus is still cheaper than taking a cab or driving. It's lower than the rate of inflation. But to the point that the MTA is a steward of public money and its promise to modernize the system, And they definitely don't always deliver on that. We saw it laid bare this week with those meltdowns. And another detail this week that sort of speaks to that is we learned that their signal upgrade program, which is underway. Remember when the G train shut down last summer? The work is still ongoing this summer. Well, a bunch of those projects are late and they're over budget. And I asked the chairman of the MTA, Jan Lieber, about this yesterday. And he admitted, yeah, we don't always get it right, but we're doing our best. And moving forward, we're learning from our mistakes and asking for patience. But I, again, like you said, I don't know how much patience the public has for the MTA at this point.
Stephen, can you explain changes to the fare cap program?
That's the subway and bus program with Omni. When you spend $34 within 7 days, you get free rides for the rest of those 7-day period whenever they first tap to kickstart the 7 days. Remember, that's like if you do 12 rides, the 13th and after that's free. That's going to go up to $36 with the increase in fares. But the bad news with that is starting early next year, the Metro card will be going away. And going away as well will be the 30-day unlimited Metro card ride, which is going to be retired. And I know some folks are not happy about that. But the MTA calls that 30-day a regressive cost because you have to pay the $132 up front. And with fare capping, you get the benefits just paying per ride. And they also say not that many people use the program anyways, the unlimited, that is.
Stephen, how are riders reacting?
Well, as they say, never read the comments. They're predictably vitriolic. But our excellent producer, Amanda Rosen, hit the platform and spoke to riders who were somewhat more understanding, maybe a bit resigned. Here's Jonathan Romero from the Bronx.
I mean, obviously it sucks, like a lot of people know the struggle of living in New York. So anytime anything's raised, people just go more angrier. Obviously it's not the best thing to happen.
Stephen, quick question. Is there good news out there for express bus riders?
Right. The express bus riders are now going to be part of this fare capping program, too. Once they spend $67 in a 7-day period, they'll have unlimited rides after that. But the base fare for those trips also is going up from $7 to $7.25. But as our other reporter, James Ramsey, reported recently, it is quite a luxurious ride if you can afford it.
WNYC transportation reporter Stephen Nessen. Stephen, great job. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael.
Thanks for listening. This is NYC Now from WNYC. Catch us every weekday, 3 times a day for your top news headlines and occasional deep dives. And subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. More soon.